My name is Sydney, and this is Exercising Your Rights in the First Amendment. Doctors say that you need to get your exercise in, and in more ways than one. When you don't, it's normal to feel fatigued and tired. Your body may begin to feel out of shape and misused. That is similar to how the U.S. Constitution behaves. The United States of America is known as the home of the free and the land of the brave. It is built upon the foundation for citizens to be able to pursue liberty inside from impairment. The First Amendment protects freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and the ability to petition the government. It is quoted in the United States Constitution as, quote, "Congress shall make no law restricting an establishment of government or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of press or the right to peacefully assemble, and the right to petition the government in redress of grievances." So why should you be exercising your rights? This speech will examine why the First Amendment and its rights are still impactful and important today by examining what freedom legally means in the U.S., how interpretation can violate the rights given to us by the Constitution, and freedom of speech in the age of social media. Freedom is traditionally defined as the ability to do something without restraint. Ideally, the First Amendment completely protects the 5 key rights it grants us without restraint in a legal setting as well. However, here the law can begin to blur the lines. Middle Tennessee State University says that, quote, "The First Amendment protects us against our government limits on our own freedoms of expression, but it doesn't prevent a private employer from setting their own rules. If an employer decides to take legal action against you for something that you said or did in the workplace, you could still be persecuted despite being protected by the First Amendment." Another admittedly disputed example of this is the separation of church and state. 19 states, as well as Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia, have laws preventing discrimination against people with same-sex sexual orientation, i.e. gay, lesbian, bisexual, etc. The Supreme Court has also acknowledged Title VII's applicability to the queer community, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures. However, on January 6th of 2018, Time pointed out that, quote, "The First Amendment ensures that the government does not show preference to a certain religion, and that the government does not take away the individual's ability to exercise religion. Several religions, such as Catholicism, prohibit same-sex relations. The law mentioned prior prohibits discrimination against these individuals, despite it going against one's religious orientation. Many claim that that's a violation of the First Amendment in and of itself, the right to freedom of religion specifically. By exercising your rights, we have a precedent, as well as more examples of what is acceptable and what is not. This brings up the second point in understanding why we should exercise our rights today. Interpretation of how far the limitations of the First Amendment goes is open to all. For example, the issue of separation of church and state, as mentioned earlier. People on the other side of the argument claim that because those laws are protecting citizens and not directly preventing individuals from practicing their religion, it's not in violation of the First Amendment. The Constitution Center points out that, quote, "The Supreme Court has interpreted speech and press broadly as not only covering talking, writing, and printing, but also broadcasting, using the internet, and other forms of expression. Freedom of speech also applies to symbolic expressions, such as displaying flags, burning flags, wearing armbands, burning crosses, and the like." Many patriotic citizens disagree with this decision, claiming that because these don't directly fall under verbal communication or licensed press, that it shouldn't be protected. The University of Oregon also points out that, quote, "Great concepts like liberty were supposed to be left to gather meaning from experience, for they relate to the whole domain of social and economic fact, and the statesmen who founded this nation knew all too well that only a stagnant society remains unchanged. It is in the United States' blood to grow and change. The problem is that this begins to harm others when taken too far." This explains how the Constitution still has holes that can be chalked up to being understood through one's own beliefs and experiences. However, if not used correctly, can harm others. Exercising our rights can help clear this up and protect people from discrimination and the like in the future. The last thing that's worth understanding is how social media plays into all of this. The First Amendment protects people in an age where access to new forms of media and the ability to say anything anonymously whenever someone decides is easier than ever. This is the loudest society has ever been. The Freedom Forum of Institutes puts it as, the First Amendment protects individuals from government censorship. Social media platforms are private companies and can censor people and their posts and their websites as they see fit. This means that rather it being completely up to the United States Constitution, it's up to those private platforms, similar to how it's up to those private employers. The American Bar Association followed up by saying that individual self-fulfillment often is associated with liberty, as well as the liberty theory, something that posits that people need and crave the ability to express themselves, to become fully functioning individuals. Censorship stunts personal growth and individual explanation. It indicts the importance of expression. It indicts the importance of continuing to exercise the rights given to you by the First Amendment. Not only will they not be taken away if we continue to do so, but they will continue to protect us and our children and the generations to come by allowing us to say what we believe is fit on the internet and keeping us safe. By allowing social media platforms to set their own guidelines, which are genuinely strict enough to keep people from saying or doing the wrong things, things that are harmful and things that violate other amendments anyway. The First Amendment keeps us safe, online and offline. In conclusion, exercise is more about just getting up and moving. It's about your actions. And in this speech, we have examined why it's important to exercise your First Amendment rights by looking into the fact that in a modern legal setting, freedom that we're supposed to be granted isn't always applied the way we think it should be in a legal setting. Interpretation is often left open to the playing field when applying these rights. And this speech has also covered why it's so important to allow the Constitution to continue to give us those rights in the age of social media by continuing to exercise them for generations to come. Applying those 5 critical rights today allows America to continue to be the home of the brave and the land of the free. Thank you.